Hello, good day everyone, and welcome to History and International Affairs Explained. My name is Joe Agafi, and I'm here to give you some updates in regards to the ongoing war in the Middle East. Now, I begin with a very rapid developing story in the Middle East, where conflicting statements from the United States and Israel are raising new questions about coordination, escalation, and the risk of a wider regional conflict. Earlier today, Donald Trump stated that the United States had no prior knowledge of Israel's strike on Iranian oil and gas infrastructure. According to Trump, Washington was not informed and did not participate in the operation. However, Israeli officials are now presenting a different picture, one that suggests the strike was, in their words, coordinated with the United States. So, why is there a discrepancy, in this operation? Have we asked ourselves what actually happened? Now, the strike in question targeted parts of Iran's energy sector, including infrastructure linked to the massive South Pass gas field, one of the largest natural gas reserves in the world. This marks a significant escalation. Up till now, most Israeli operations had focused on military or proxy targets. Hitting energy infrastructure crosses into economically strategic territory and raises the stakes considerably. Iran has already responded with retaliatory actions targeting energy-related assets in the Gulf region, increasing fears of a broader conflict that could disrupt global energy markets. Now, let me break this down. Let me break this down. Um, let me break down the two competing narratives. The Trump administration says no prior knowledge, no involvement. Israeli officials says the operation was coordinated with the US awareness or approval. At first glance, these statements appear contradictory, but analysts say both could be technically true, depending on how you define coordination. Now, what does this coordination mean in this aspect? In military and diplomatic terms, coordination exists on a spectrum. At one end, joint planning and execution. In the middle, advanced notification or consultation. At the other end, tacit approval. Essentially, we won't stop you. However, experts suggest that this decision likely falls somewhere in the middle. In other words, Israel may have informed Washington in advance or received a general green light without the US being directly involved in planning or carrying out the strike. That allows both sides to frame the situation differently without necessarily contradicting the underlying facts. So, why are they downplaying their involvement? Actually, there are several reasons why Donald Trump will emphasize non-involvement. First, avoiding escalation. A direct US link to attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure could pull American forces deeper into the conflict. Secondly, regional diplomacy. Gulf states, some of which host US bases, are highly sensitive to attacks on their energy assets. Distancing the US helps maintaining those relationships. Third, domestic politics. Trump has repeatedly emphasized limiting US entanglement in foreign wars. Acknowledging coordination could undermine that message. Why is Israel maintaining, or rather emphasizing on coordination? On the other side, Israel has its own incentives to highlight US government involvement. Deterrence, suggesting US backing sends a strong signal to Iran. Legitimacy reinforces the idea that the operation aligns with broader Western strategy. Reassurance signals to the Israeli public that it is not acting alone. So, while Washington stresses distance, Israel stresses alignment. Now, we could be having some signs of underlying tension, which could be behind the scenes, um, which could be indications that the US and Israel may not be fully aligned on strategy. Reports suggest Washington had previously urged Israel to avoid striking oil and gas infrastructure due to fears of rapid escalation, retaliation across the region, spikes in global energy prices. If that's the case, then this strike may represent Israel pushing beyond what the US had preferred, while still keeping Washington informed at some levels. Now, globally, this isn't just a diplomatic agreement, it has real global consequences. The South Pass gas field is critical to global energy supply. Any disruption can drive up oil and gas prices, impacting European and Asian and African energy markets, increases inflationary pressure worldwide. There are also security risks. If Iran expands its retaliation, the conflict could spread to shipping lanes in the Persian Gulf, energy infrastructure in neighboring countries, US military assets in the region. So, what's really going on here? Many experts agree that this is less about outright contradiction and more about strategic messaging. The US wants plausible deniability. Israel wants visible alignment. The truth likely sits in the gray area between them. This kind of ambiguity is common in high-stakes military alliances, especially when both sides are trying to manage escalation while maintaining deterrence. As the situation continues to unfold, one thing is clear. The gap between public statements and behind-the-scenes coordination is becoming increasingly important and increasingly consequential. With tensions rising amid global markets reacting, the world will be watching closely to see whether this remains a limited escalation or the beginning of something much larger. For now, the message may be unclear, but the risks are not. Thank you so much, my dear viewers. Kindly subscribe, like, and share. Have a beautiful day from here.